Welcome, Maniacs, to Saltier Podcast. This is episode 114. Woo! You'll love to see it. We are brought to you by the Soundcasting Network and Voodoo Ranger, B Corp certified company, bringing you all the delicious IPAs that you know and love, and the great skeleton mascot. Thank you, Voodoo Ranger. And also, thank you, New Belgium. We have a little, group of people here today, which is our normal little group. And we're going to share some topics, the things we've been playing this week, and bring you up to speed on what's going on. This is your host, All Might Skylar. You can find me on Instagram at Skylar's Back at It, and you can find me on Steam at All Might Space Skylar. I'll kick it off to the save rings up there and have them turn it over after that.
Hey, what's up? This is the save rings here. How am I coming across? I'm coming across good. What's up, everybody? This is the save rings coming at you. It's good to be seen. How's everyone doing? I'm just happy to be here. Like literally, just happy to be here. I don't have too much going on this week. Just been playing some stuff here and there. Seriously, like I haven't really been playing much. I've been goofing around on Stellaris just a little bit before they nuke it and start over, because that's what it looks like they're about to do. Haven't really played too much VR, and right before the podcast, I was actually playing Octopath Traveler, just a little bit, getting back into that game. I do need to record some footage for that and share it with everybody on the podcast. The second I get my second PC set up, I will do that. But other than that, I will kick it off to the loudest and the brownest.
Maniacs, what do? I am Loud and Brown, at Loud and Brown. Oh, yeah. Slancha.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't been gaming so much this week. I'm back at work. So if anything, I'm just adjusting my my sleep schedule and making sure, I don't have 14 hours of the day to sleep and lie around anymore. So I'm trying to balance all of that. Played, I think, a tiny bit of Overwatch and almost got into a kind of a spy game, just like with some friends from home. It's the same one I played like a month ago. I did not write down the name of it because we bailed. We ended up not playing it anyway. And that is it for gaming. A lot of gaming news, a lot of gaming videos I watched, but none of the playing. This is me playing games. This isn't how you play games?
Nope.
You're crap.
You didn't know that?
Okay, Boomer.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. All right. Of all the people to call me that, how dare you?
I know, right?
Okay. And that's all for me, if it matters. Loud and Brown, Instagram and Twitter. But if you do want to game with me when I am on, Gross Def with a PH on Steam and PlayStation. And then I'm just going to trickle and ooze down to the Sage's Bell.
Hey, find me Twitch and Twitter at SageBell, SageBell_model on other platforms. It's one or the other. I've been playing, by no surprise, Dead by Daylight for most people. But I also tried a new horror game on Wednesday of last week, and that was a game called Pacify. And Pacify is a bit older than Phasmophobia, but if you think about Phasmophobia, how it's a cooperative, you're trying to find the ghost and not die. So similar in that aspect, but doesn't tell you anything. You have to find these or what it is this daughter of this house, this family, but their daughter gets possessed, and she's like this creepy floaty ghosty thing, and she the only way to chill her the fuck out is to get these dolls that are specifically marked, and you have to burn them in the flame, and it decreases her power, but she gets more powerful until you get the last one.
Goodness.
Nice.
It's terrifying. Stats and I were playing with it. Oh yeah, there he goes. Not Riku his stats there.
I should join you guys so I can test out the dying on that game.
You should. It's if you die but everyone else is alive, you become a doll and you have to run into the fire to become back to full size.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. So I'll be testing the fire doll mechanics for sure.
Yeah, it was terrifying.
Saverings ... will be stress testing
Mhm.
death.
Yep, that's what I do in horror games. I test all the death.
Well, who's up next?
Well,
Hmm.
as
Over to the puppet.
as one of our fans of the show is liking to comment, look at Skylar not playing Valheim. I have been playing a lot of Valheim lately, and a little bit of Legends of Runeterra. On Legends of Runeterra, they just released a new expansion, so it's been crazy. The new cards that they've come out with are absolutely nuts. The new combos and stuff you can do in that game.
So just as a refresh to my boomer ears, because I literally am, that's the card game for League of Legends, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It is really good. The new expansion, the Shurima expansion, has been fantastic. Yeah, they really outdid themselves with this one. It's been super fun to play. And other than that, I've been
Hold on.
playing.
Not only
Valheim.
that, Skylar, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you just gave us the perfect segue later on for our other card game related
Later on.
story.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you brought that up because now I'm like, oh, that's great. Now we'll come back to this. Everybody bookmark this. We'll come back.
And then other than that, been playing Valheim a lot. I've got 7 people on my server now, probably about 5 at any given time.
Are you signed in right now? Let me look at my friend's Steam's list. real
Actually,
quick.
I signed out, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm signed out right now
Okay.
because I don't want to die. But
But if you did die,
oh my gosh, I have that. Yeah, I have this group that I found on. I think it was Game Radar. There's a group called the Body Recovery Squad, and it's basically this mechanic out of British Columbia. And you go to his Discord page and you click the SOS button, and you can like plead for them to come help you, come to your server and recover your body for you.
That's great.
Which today I had like this morning I had went out, it died, and my boat got destroyed by a sea serpent. So I had to like get 4 of my friends to come on. I had to like borrow someone else's boat so we could go out and like recover all my stuff that was in the middle of the ocean.
I swear that happened to a friend of mine last night. He jumped on the Steam chat at like I don't know 3 in the morning. I didn't see it till this morning, and he was like, "So I got brave and got out on a raft. I got killed by a sea serpent."
jeez.
So I was like shooting it with a bow, and it like its head was up into my ship. So I was like, "Oh, I'll just hit it with my sword," and I just destroyed my ship with my sword. And then I just instantly sank, and he came up and ate me.
So, Maniacs, to not tangent too much, I'm going to watch the time. This will be less than 2 minutes. On these open world, like multiplayer games, people will figure out how to gamify this world however they want. For example, in World of Warcraft, there was an entire guild, and their whole mindset was around hunting and furs, and that's it. They all twinked out. They would never get to the point where they had higher enemies that could target them, and they only got to the level where they could get the best furs, and all they did was trade, and everybody on their server knew about them. They're like, oh, do you need furs? Because on this part of the town you can talk to this guild. And there's also in Star Wars Galaxies, there was that entire group of stormtroopers, and all they would do is march around in formation all day, to the point where LucasArts sent an NPC Darth Vader to tell them they're doing a good job because they were doing it for so long.
Wow.
So
yeah, no, I've been loving Valheim. Like the building in it is fantastic. It's so realistic. All the different things that you have to do. I just got to the swamplands, and you kill these new enemies that are just insanely hard. They were like, I was getting one shot by the archers, and I have full bronze armor and like weaponry, and like I was just getting one shot. It was absolutely insane. But you kill them, and you get their entrails to make sausages with back home.
Nice.
So you like get thistle, you get thistle, and then you get raw meat from like deer or boars, and then you get the entrails, so you make sausage.
That's pretty Viking metal right there, though.
Yeah, it's super Viking. It's pretty great.
Would
And,
you
like,
say that there are Viking killers? Was that a really bad segue? Was that bad? Was that awful?
Viking killers.
The segue into Dead by Daylight. There's a new killer and survivor. This is his Mori, so this is like his like version of an alt move, but you have to use a special thing. So they worked with BTS producer. So they worked with the BTS producer, the K-pop band, to create these characters. And so the new killer is, a play on the Joker. His name is Jin Woon, and his band was killed, and so he decides to like.
I forgot that there's a
Kill.
story. That's so good.
Yeah.
Everyone who gets put into Dead by Daylight has a story. So there's like these long, like huge stories about it.
That's so cool, though. I like that it's current because of the things that we've seen, they're like obviously plays on archetypes of horror movies, like a lot of them, right? And this one's much more current. You know what I mean? Like K-pop only kind of blew up the last couple of years, so this is awesome.
Oh yeah, everyone's basically thirsting for the killer. He shoots like a bunch of needles at you, essentially, like just throwing knives, but it takes a bunch to take you out. Instead of like one hit you're injured, it's like 4 or 5 hits you're injured, and then another 10 you're down. So again, this is just like his special murder move called a Mori, and that's the female character that's a player on the other side.
Oof.
Yeah, he's really fun to watch. He has a baseball bat with a blade.
Ooh.
So if he wants to like his melee with this bat versus shooting his little like at you,
throwing
it's
knives.
really cool. Yeah. Throwing knives.
It reminded me of
so
Gambit.
cool.
Looked like he was throwing like sharpened cards or something.
Is that a technical term?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's in the encyclopedia now. That's in the dictionary now. Pew pew.
Well, in Marvel video game news.
But this is a game that we've spoken on this podcast before. This pretty much came out and fell right on its face. We're talking about whenever I type it, you legally have to type Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix's, Disney's, Marvel's, The Avengers, because there was about 17 companies that had their face and their name all up in this. But basically, this game came out and it kind of went over like a lead balloon. It undersold. There's roughly about 500 people playing it right now at any given time on Steam. That's not good. It's an Avengers game. We've covered it here previously on the show. Well, the developers have come out with a new plan for the game, and that's to make it more grindy. Once you hit level 25, there's a 50 level cap. Once you hit level 25, they're going to slow down the grind because, according to them, leveling up too fast might be confusing and overwhelming for players. So they're going to slow it down. What really happened is what's speculating, and this is kind of facts. People usually play their favorite character, get it to level 50, and then just stop playing the game because they max out their favorite character. So I think this is to slow down people from leveling from 25 to 50 so fast, so they stay in the game longer and potentially buy more microtransactions. So
sneaky, and
very sneaky.
Us here at Salt Tier Podcast.
What's up?
Part of the Soundcasting Network. We love paywalls, don't we?
Yeah, and surprise mechanics and grind. That's like our favorite. Yes, Vincent. They said leveling might be overwhelming and confusing for players. Granted, this doesn't kick into level 25, so you're halfway through leveling a character. You kind of have a grasp on how the leveling system works at that point. It's like you're into the game, you figure that out. So yeah.
And did they use my boy Clint as the main graphic for that?
Check it out.
In front of Hulk.
Well,
Beautiful.
Well, Clint they brought out because he's about to come out on the 18th, I think. So in about 10 days, they're gonna have their first expansion with extra characters. This game came out when, guys? Like in October?
Oh,
November?
That's right.
So they're bringing Hawkeye to the mix, and I think also Kate Bishop. I think it's both the Hawkeyes that are coming out. But you're gonna have to grind those from the beginning, and at level 25, it's gonna be even grindier because that was when he releases is that patch where I think they're gonna up this and everything like that. So these live service games, watch out for them. They get grindy, some on purpose. some for financial reasons that aren't good, that don't benefit you as the player. So just keep an eye out. And this is a perfect example of I don't know. Again, it's not very well thought out, and they're paying the price for it. Anybody else know anything about this game? Anybody here played it?
Nope.
You tried it, Skylar?
I have not. I looked at it and I thought about it and I was like, I'm gonna wait till I get this for like $15.
Yeah. I played the demo for it and it crashed. The demo crashed on my computer. So that was
I'm already playing the greatest game ever made right now. So.
Is it weird that I want a dumber Marvel game? Like I can imagine playing something that's completely pick up and play. Like we're ready to go out like after we're all vaccinated, ready to go out tonight, but we got like 30 minutes to kill in pregame. So we play, Mario Kart, we play Lethal League, we play Gang Beasts, we play stuff that you can just plug in, hand anybody a controller, and don't worry about it. And this is so just campaign and level and like there's all these characters and stuff to deal with. What if you just wanted to play, the arcade Avengers game, and you just want to spam attack?
Yeah.
Like a beat 'em up. So different demographics, obviously, and this is a AAA game, right?
Oh yeah, this is as AAA as they get right here. This is the pinnacle of AAA right here. Yeah.
All right. So on to some Final Fantasy news, because apparently we'll never stop talking about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and as a perfect segue, this is also a Square Enix game. And I wanted to bring this up because Loud and Brown. Somebody yesterday brought this up a couple days ago when I posted this in our little itinerary here. To get the full story of Final Fantasy VII now, you have to play a mobile battle royale game. If you want the full world, if you want the full story of that entire world, you have to play this now. You have to play a mobile VR game. And that's it. That's the only reason I posted it here. Anybody else?
I could expand on this. And Skylar, Sage, do either of you regularly watch donkey videos at all on YouTube?
You should if you're not.
Because it's a comedy channel, but he's very good at video games. Like you look at his footage, like he obviously knows what he's doing. And two, when he does like official reviews, they're very well thought out and scripted to the point where it's better than stuff that like IGN tosses out or other people that call themselves game journalists. And he went and he kind of clowned on the state of play for PlayStation. And he gave the best analogy ever. And, he had his accent, his New Jersey accent. He's like, so you're telling me they're basically going to rebuild this out to Kingdom Hearts 3. And he showed like these two graphs. And he's like, I'm going to have to play these mobile and handheld games to get the story correct before they give me a mainline continuation.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's where that's where I got that from. Was from his video.
Donkey is a killer. We'll put a link in the YouTube after we, if you're not watching it live, if you're watching it not in early March, there'll be a link in the description.
Well, so going back to some card game news, was this about Valve canceling Artifact 2.0?
Well, you were speaking about what's your card game called? Something of
Legends of Runeterra.
Yes, which is the card game for
League of Legends.
League of Legends. Artifact was the card game for Dota, which is the other big MOBA game that's out there. Like these two go neck and neck. It's like Sonic and Mario. Like they're both huge franchises in their own right. But you want to talk about the worst way to unveil something. This next video we're going to see, this happened at TI8, which was 3 years ago now. This is the big tournament for the international. This is for Dota. This is where all the diehard fans are. This is ESPN covers this and talks about this, the largest prize pool in all of gaming. This following video is how you don't introduce a new product.
I do like how like a fourth of the people there were still excited. And then but most of them were just like, come on.
Yeah, people were showing, and I was watching that. What's up, Sage? What's up?
I was gonna say, so how would you compare that to having phones?
Ooh.
Oh, having phones is worse.
In all fairness, though, yes, they're both equally. They're just both equally just delicious, depending on your taste. But the thing with this one is, Valve very rarely releases games, like original games. So for them to show something at the international and for them to tease and you kind of like are seeing a little bit of what it could be, and then for people to go artifact, and then the second it shows the card game is when just the air goes out of the building. So basically, Valve is pulling the cord on this because this thing has been a disaster for them. It instantly went from I think like the top 10 most played game on Steam to falling well off the charts with less than a couple hundred people playing it.
Wow. Well, to compare this to something that Sage and I do like, I remember watching a video for Overwatch, right? You know, they have these story cinematics, and they introduced the character in it, and it was cool, but it was about a mainline character. And 30 seconds later, they're like, "Oh, you liked the Western like cowgirl? Here's her character intro," and everybody freaked out because I don't know if that happens that often, but it's like, here's a cinematic, here's a character like trailer. It just
actually something good then, something people wanted to see.
It's exactly, you know, if they could have been like, here's a really cool cinematic with one of your favorite characters that expands the lore, and they could have ended it.
Yeah.
And people, you know, that happens in games all the time.
So basically, you're talking the opposite of the video.
Exactly.
That we just
Exactly. Or how in Street Fighter, when they realized they were getting a little less popular, they threw, you know, at the end of the tournament, you know, they do the whole season 3 and it shows 2 characters and 3 in silhouettes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it just goes, you know what? ... 3 of the silhouettes disappeared and they're like, available tomorrow. The whole crowd was like, are you kidding
Which is
me?
the opposite of Valve time. So people are seeing a new Valve game and they're just like, so that was it. I had to throw that up there. It's just in relation to, we've talked about other games that have come out and been pulled back. You got Crucible by Amazon. You got Anthem, which just recently got the life support pulled out of it. You have Battleborn, which was Gearbox's big MOBA shooter game.
I watched a whole video about how their launch was so unsuccessful because of the meddling of this, like the main director and like.
Yeah.
Are
you talking about our boy Randy?
Well, it was because, you know, people were like, "Oh, is this a team shooter or a MOBA?" And he would just be very vague with his descriptions. And then he gave it to a bunch of influencers and streamers and made them sign NDAs so people couldn't share or talk about it.
Yeah, which at the same time Overwatch was launching, and while everybody was talking about Overwatch, they couldn't talk about Battleborn. Yeah, I remember that.
It was the worst storm.
I remember that. Yes. Yeah. So we'll see how Gearbox does with the $1 billion signing that they just had that we talked about on the show last week.
Yeah, so don't do what Valve does, is what you're saying? Why not, man?
Not in this case. So basically, that's a Valve product that straight up flopped.
If you want a good card game, go play Runeterra.
There you go. They showed them how to do it.
Runeterra's popping off now.
Or Gwent. I even hear Gwent's good.
What's that massive one in? Oh no, I think it's a mobile game. I don't think it's a card game. The one that's like the biggest game in China.
League of Legends.
A mobile game.
Mahjong. I don't know. A big mobile game in China. Can you narrow it down to like the top 10,000 games? I don't know.
No, I forget. We talked about it in another episode. But don't worry. Don't mind me. I'm an old man yelling at the clouds.
Well, going into that, old man Derek needs a break.
That's a perfect segue.
I miss you, Skylar.
Oh, it was Crossfire, but it is no longer. But anyway,
this has been Saltier Podcast, brought to you by the Soundcasting Network and Voodoo Ranger. Thank you very much, Voodoo Ranger, for all your great IPA deliciousness, fueling this podcast and all its craziness.
B Corp certified.
B Corp certified.
Employee owned.
Employee owned.
Hashtag.
All the good stuff. Hashtag live rangerously.
And it's delicious.
All of it. Also New Belgium made.
Mm-hmm.
New Belgium.
Is that the 1554?
Yeah, the
It's a
1554 is so good.
That thing will knock you on your butt. It's so
good.
easy to drink, and then after 2 of them, you're texting ex-girlfriends.
Same thing with this one.
Mighty tasty.
Same thing with this experimental IPA. Like this should get you lit. This should get you lit if you're not careful.
What's it taste like?
It's It's kind of fruity when you first start drinking it. It's got like that like fruity like presence to it, but then after a while, like literally, you don't taste it. It's very light, and then it gets dangerous because this is what is this? It says it's 6.8. Yeah,
Well, that's not
6.6.
dangerous.
Yeah, it's 6.6, but it'll creep up on you because it's just like, oh, I'm just drinking this, and then you like slam like 2 cans, and you're like, whoa, 2 cans in like 20 minutes. I'm feeling a little okay.
So their Imperial IPA is 9%.
Yeah,
To give everyone else out their perspective.
yeah.
Goodness.
This one's
Yeah,
it's
nothing
stronger
is-
than it looks though.
Like almost nothing is under 5. And 5 is most beers what people have out in the wild. I think
Yeah.
5 is also what? White Claw is 5?
5, maybe, or 4.
Oh,
So
There's-
the Juicy Haze is 7.5, and the Higher Plane is 8.5.
And also our homie Ad3 dropping the truth bombs, the Darkwing Duck reference.
Let's get rangerous.
Rangerous.
Yeah.
But anyways, you can find us on Instagram, Steam, live streaming Mondays at 8 o'clock on YouTube, Facebook, and also anywhere you find podcasts at.
Yep. SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Store podcast, whatever their name is today.
Christian Mingle.
Christian Mingle.
Dogster.
Parlor? Are we on Parlor? Are we on Parlor? What else we got?
Well,
There's actually a fucking mead dealership, like a mead store right next to where I work at that I pass by all the time. And I'm very close to going in there and buying some honey wine for while I play
anybody-
Valheim.
It's worth it.
to anybody listening and not watching,
just bought
we
mead
are
today.
responding to some Twitch comments about Vikings and drinking mead.
Yes. Oh yeah. So far, everyone who doesn't know, Valheim is a Viking survival sandbox game. It is Minecraft, but with the combat and bosses of Dark Souls, all Viking themed. Super fun. Highly recommend it. Definitely should get some friends to help you. You could do it by yourself, but it is not easy
You can have a server with up to 10 people.
at any one time.
Mhm.
Yep. And I got 7 people on mine. Getting spicy.
Minecraft, but Vikings Dark Souls. Is
Yeah.
that what you just said?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's literally what it is, too. It's crazy. Like they'll kite you. Like even the boars fucking kite you.
That doesn't sound fun.
You know, much like a
It sounds like
multi-million dollar.
controller's broken.
You mean like much like a $1 million corporation kites a smaller developer?
Yes. Yes.
So Microsoft just got approved by Europe to buy Bethesda's parent company for $7.5 billion.
Yeah. The scary part is we reported on here, Microsoft doubled that money last quarter. So the money that they spent on this, they doubled it last quarter. So it's just like change to them.
Jeez.
Yep. So yeah, this was one of the big last hurley like stumbling blocks or things that they had to get past. The SEC already approved it over here in the United States, and then it was up to the European Commission to approve the deal. A formality, more or less, because when two companies like this merge or buy each other out, they usually like to have everything lined up. That's why I took the Disney and Fox deal so long to go through, because they'd already worked out things ahead of time so that deal could go through. So this was merely a formality. So to see this go through, they're just another step closer. And,
It's a tip of the fedora to
yes,
each other.
yeah, it's crossing the I's and dotting the I's and crossing the T's.
No, you had it right the
Yeah.
first time.
On all that good stuff. So this is an update to something that we have been covering on this show. So if you've been watching us, there's your update for you. Good to see.
What was the last thing Tencent bought?
Tencent, I just found out, is doing System Shock 3. Because System Shock 3 was supposed to be made by, I forgot what company had it. You've heard of System Shock before though, right? This is a first-person shooter that came out mid-90s. But basically every first-person shooter you've seen since, including Half-Life, is derivative of System Shock. It was the first FPS, not the first, but one of the first that brought in like the heavy narrative, reading things and finding out about the lore of the world through reading things or finding things, and having multiple choices that you can make throughout the game. So it didn't sell very well. It was very niche, but it over the years developed a big cult following and developed people updating it and remastering it themselves. So to have there be an official big one coming out, something happened with it. It got announced back in like 2014, 15, I want to say. Something happened with the publisher and the developer. They fell out, and now Tencent is publishing it and developing it. So that's the last thing I heard about Tencent doing. I don't know what the last thing they bought officially was.
I see. And everybody here understands. I'm going to give myself 1 minute for this. When some smaller companies fail to make a game and a bigger one takes over, like Red Dead Redemption, Revolver, like huge games can happen. Because I remember watching the teasers from Red Dead Revolver by Capcom, and then Capcom was just buried and couldn't make it, and they sold it, and Rockstar picked it up and made millions. All the monies.
That they did. So
hold on real quick. To answer your question, these are the last things that Tencent invested in. They invested in the company that makes Life is Strange, those kind of like Telltale games. Yes. Vampire and Tell Me Why. I think Tell Me Why is a newer one. I think that's their newest game.
Those are all Microsoft games.
French developer Don't Nod. So I don't know. Those games are also on PC, but I don't know. Whatever the developer, their parent company, Tencent invested in them. And we reported last week or the week before that they bought a stake in Bohemian Interactive, the people that make the Arma games, and their engines have spouted DayZ, which spouted so-and-so, which spouted PUBG, actually. So they're invested in. Tencent already owns PUBG. Huh?
What's PUBG?
Yeah, and Tencent already straight up owns PUBG, so it would make sense. So those are the last things that Tencent invested in.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, London, for pulling that up for us.
Yep.
And they have Don't Starve. You are correct, Matt Stocks.
Oh, wow.
For our next topic, Epic Games, the Dark Rainer of free games, is buying Fall Guys. Is buying Fall Guys creator.
And it's a very boss move too.
Yeah, this is pretty aggressive.
Yeah. Not to be outdone by Microsoft buying, because we have to remember, Microsoft didn't just buy didn't just buy Bethesda. They bought their parent company. So you bought Bethesda and all the companies that they own, including Arcane Studios, who make the Wolfenstein games, including a bunch of other stuff. id Software, who makes Doom. That's all under Bethesda. Bethesda's owned by ZeniMax, which is a parent company. They own like energy interest and like publishing and like other genres and like property and law firms. Microsoft bought that just to get to Bethesda underneath. Epic looks like it did the same thing. Mediatonic is the company that makes Fall Guys. They're owned by Tonic Games Group. Epic bought Tonic Games Group. They didn't buy the company. They bought their boss. So,
woof.
Yeah, so that's a boss move right there.
Epic have all this money? That's so crazy.
Well, Tencent has a large cent in Epic.
There you go.
And Epic Games, don't they make a tiny battle royale game?
Well, it's not a monopoly if one of your sub company buys it.
Yeah. So, but the thing with Epic doing this, they're gonna stretch themselves kind of thin, because before all this, they were pretty much just software engineers that made the Unreal Engine. And every once in a while, they'd make a game on their own. Every once in a while, and it was mostly Gears of War. So to go from that to managing Fortnite, yeah. So to go from that to managing that.
Well, I guess technically, if you did make the Unreal Engine, I mean, just imagine how much money people have paid them to use that engine.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
But I'm saying that Unreal Engine's peanuts right now, though, compared to Fortnite.
Wow, that's crazy. But anyways, we'll see how that goes. I mean, keep giving me free games. I'm not going to play Epic and do whatever the fuck you want.
They have your data. You're good.
That's all they want.
That's their money.
Yep. That's all they want.
That's true, yeah.
They can sell you more stuff.
It's true.
So, Bobby, if you want to go ahead and cue that video up. Basically, I'm going to try to make this as short as sweet as possible. We all know about hey. We don't own that. Basically, this is okay. As gamers, as things move into the more digital age, we have our people that like to keep the physical copies. We go out and still want to buy physical copies of things because you never know how these things are going to end. But basically, there was a video. This is the original Dark Souls dank meme video. You're going to see the part right here that's going to get censored. I think this is the original version. But basically, he goes 10 dexterity, but don't tell anyone you level that up. You so and so F word. But it's not the F word you're thinking. It's the derogatory term. But basically, this was part of the video since forever. And then recently, I always end up going back to this video every couple of months, just randomly, just because it makes me laugh. And I noticed this time that word was censored, and this was on the original page that originally uploaded it. So I was reading the comments, and I guess this got censored a few weeks back, and a lot of people have been re-uploading it, the original uncensored version. And it was done by the creator himself. It wasn't YouTube or anything like that came back and did it. So I respect his choice to want to go back and do it. It's akin to Lucas going back and remastering the Star Wars movies. As much as we all grumble and complain about it, it is what it is. But if you still want to go find the original versions, you can still go do that. But this kind of brings into the topic of everything going digital. When there's a change made to something, like that's it. Like that original version you got is gone unless you own it on VHS or DVD or Blu-ray or have an actual copy of it. So it's his right to do it. It's his video. But I don't know. It just struck me as like, oh, this is one of those things which you're going to have to go back and own it on Laserdisc to get the original version of it.
Yes.
It's like, what do you guys think about that? Because that is something that we've talked about and touched on this podcast before.
Shh.
As far as like preservation of things
in
this digital
Sageville, All Might Skylar.
You should preserve everything that is from the old ways of the internet.
Can you scratch your Viking beard when you say that?
Yeah.
You got to save all of the things from the olden times.
Schmeardy, schmeardy, schmer.
You can't let these things fade off into ice. You gotta hold them on, hold on to them, cherish them.
For example,
keep those ancient hard drives.
We can't be censoring these things. The children need to grow up strong.
Yeah. For a very old version, for the old heads in the house that are also the brown heads in the house, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, not Super Punch Out. Right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Say rings ...
Featuring Mr. Dream and stuff.
Mr. Dream instead of the one and only Mike Tyson. So that's the oldest example I could think of as far as it goes with gaming. I know that stuff is happening with Hulu right now. They removed a bunch of Sunny in Philadelphia episodes.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. And,
as far as gaming, it's going to touch on a topic that we're going to speak on here in a little bit. But when they released the Warcraft 3 Reforged, and it was not as good as the version that they advertised, and everybody wanted to play it with all these new features. But by them releasing it, it overwrote the old one, so you can only get that remaster that nobody liked. So yeah.
Which is why I ordered a PlayStation disc of the Scott Pilgrim re-release, because
nice.
I don't trust.
That's another good example right there. Yeah, that's a good example.
Because I have
right
it on the 360, and it's a dead game basically. I could play it locally, thankfully, but this will be just on a newer system. I bought it twice. I'm a fool. They got me. Brian Lee O'Malley has my money.
And I linked there in the chat. Check it out after the podcast here. If you want to see like that actual video that I'm talking about, I re-uploaded it to my YouTube channel, which is V-Gaming. I'll probably stick it as well on the Facebook and the other sites, so you can see it there as well. It's hilarious. You've probably seen that Dark Souls meme and just not you didn't get it, or you just didn't know where it came from before. This is the video where it came from. It pretty much spawned all Dark Souls memes past that, and actually spilled into other games as well. So, yeah.
What, Vincent? What are you asking? How much does it cost? Valheim? $20.
No, he's asking.
Oh, about the 10-cent stock?
Oh,
yeah, he's probably talking stock.
I don't know.
What? Anyways. What is this next topic we're getting into?
This is
we're gonna
quiet
diverge.
little Loud and Brown. I haven't had a whole lot of stuff to talk
Loud.
about, but
Is this a fighting game, Loud and Brown?
oh, so shocking! I know. So
No way.
one of our
That's the next
favorite
cosplay.
Look at this. I don't have that chest. Look at those pecs. Homeboy
That's
probably
fair.
pushes 550.
Skylar, you have those pecs, right?
Is that so bad guy getting
All
beat
day.
up right there?
Yeah. So this is a fan favorite. His name is Anji. He fights with fans, and they gave him a parasol. He is like the Bishonen fighter. And to anybody that doesn't watch a lot
So
of anime,
beautiful.
Bishonen basically means like pretty man. Where everybody else is kind of an edgelord and grunts and wears belts and has spikes
And they're
and
all
has
angsty.
flames. Yeah, they're all angsty. You have, like I said, the Bishonen, Anji, and he's gorgeous and he fights with fans. And he wasn't in the last game, so this was a big reveal. They showed some gameplay. You got to see him, and you also got to see Eno. Thank you, London. I mean, look, he looks great. His design has always been open-chested too. That's not like a new thing. They've been redesigning a lot of people, but he's always worn like just sleeves.
Why are his glasses so small?
I know, that's pretty funny, right? I guess they're just reading glasses,
Okay.
and they just stay on. But I'm
They're
excited.
combat
So
glasses.
to expand on this, this might have been something that they just needed to do. Oh, look at him! Thank you for the pause, London. Look
There
at
you
those
go.
abs. So
He's got
So
all
wait,
this.
wait. So wait, has it just been like fan service characters recently? Between
no,
him
because,
and
you know, yes, him and Eno were definitely fan service, but his
I was
more
going
so-
with Dead by Daylight's new character.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, fan
Pretty
service,
boys.
cheesecake characters for
Is
sure.
it cheesecake or beefcake?
Beefcake.
There you go. Beefcake.
Beefcake.
You gotta get
So
the meat sweats.
to expand on one of Savoring Dot's favorite releases of the last decade, Cyberpunk very famously delayed their release, and Guilty Gear has just announced with a week before this release that instead of releasing their game on April 6th, it will be delayed until June 11th because they want to make sure it comes out right. And it is rumored to put out a new beta to test the 2 new characters to make sure the game launches balanced.
I mean, I respect that. As long as you're not lying to your shareholders about it, it's all good.
And as long as you're not using the game to help launch a console.
Yeah. Damn Zebra.
You know, there's nothing about the Guilty Gear game that's like, oh, you can't play this on PlayStation 4. It's optimized for PlayStation 5. You know, it's a fighting game.
Yeah.
So it'll be in arcades, PlayStation, PC, and PlayStation 4 and Xbox. It'll be all the things. Not exclusive. So it's a little different, obviously. But I'm excited.
Will
Like
it be
I said,
crossplay?
I don't believe so, but who knows?
Okay.
I mean, Street Fighter only was because it was a PlayStation exclusive with PC, which is ridiculous because PC is Xbox, and if you buy it for Xbox, I think you might get a Xbox One version. I don't know if that's one of the games that works, but anyway, I'm excited for the game. It's cool. He's beautiful. All praise our Bishonen Anji.
Did you say it's beautiful or he's beautiful?
I said he's beautiful. Or
Okay.
they're beautiful.
Okay,
I
just making
don't
sure.
actually know. There is a like non-binary character in the game series named Bridget.
Mhm.
And the storyline, depending on what year you're talking about it, has been dodged back and forth. And it is a non-descriptive androgynous person that dresses like a nun and fights with a yo-yo.
Did you see they added a non-binary character to the High Republic in Star Wars? It's literally a rock.
Oh,
There's a character that's literally a rock named Geode. And I'm like, there's your non-binary. It's a rock.
That's hilarious.
Tekken has a character. It's Leo.
Leo.
always on the forefront.
Yep.
Because
He's a
Yeah.
freaking badass. And you know what the funny thing is? He doesn't owe you shit. I like that he does more for fighting games, but then doesn't answer anybody's complaints. He actually showed up to a
you're
fighting
talking
event
about
with a
him.
t-shirt that says, I don't owe you shit. When people
Oh, yeah.
ask for their favorite characters or patches, he'll just like point.
Wow.
But that's my fighting game little corner. Thank you for letting me think. I think we should all get into it. Looks like it's going to be more accessible than the past Guilty Gear games. It's also beautiful. I can't believe that I'm saying this, but it makes Dragon Ball Z look ugly.
I'll probably pick it up when it's like sub $20 and throw it in the pile with the other Guilty Gear games that I haven't played in forever. I literally have like 12 Guilty Gear games and I haven't touched any of them.
You could pry my cold dead hand off my bronze axe.
You'll play it at a party drunk though, Skylar. You would.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
No, because I'm used to having all my friends being into fighting games when I sucked at them. So every single time I went to a goddamn party, I would just get trashed the whole time.
Oh,
Done.
this sounds traumatic. Like
It is dramatic.
You know what? When you hang out at the crib, the game that balances everybody is Tricky Towers, because no
Fuck
one.
yeah.
Yeah, Tricky Towers
Tricky Towers,
has everybody.
And also Lethal League. I can throw down on some Lethal League.
You are good at Lethal League. Maniacs, we're going to put that link probably on our Facebook. If you don't know what Lethal League and Tricky Towers are, you haven't been hanging out with Salt Tier long enough. But we will move on, and All Might Skylar will kick us to our last topic, which we will end on. What are we talking about, my darling friend?
So apparently Diablo 2 is will let you import a 20-year-old old save game file, which is insane. Sage Bell, would you like to talk more about this?
So who still has their save files from 20 years ago?
Yeah, I was about to say, like, you just like transfer. You were like from your old hard drives, just like I have to save these.
Well, my question is like, okay, say you've been playing it on Blizzard, whatever, since they had their launcher back with like WoW and stuff, right? And then they moved everything to their thing.
BattleNet, yeah.
Yeah, the original one. Are your save games still on there from your original one? So would you just be would you just be importing that from what you've been playing Diablo 2 on into
I mean, you never really used the launcher with Diablo 2 that I remember. You just had your disc, you plugged it in, and then you went online. Like I don't remember a launcher.
Like even to this day, though?
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think there was a launcher either.
Like even to this day, Diablo 2 doesn't have a launcher. It doesn't go through BattleNet or whatever.
Oh, it probably does by now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say now, but back then it didn't. So you would have to like either turn on your Windows 98 computer.
See, okay, like here's the other part where I'm lost, right? So up until now, could you still play your old progress? Like
I don't think it would be compatible on the computer. Like I don't think computer could run that old.
So I guess what Saverings ... is referencing right now are people that are still rocking EQ2.
Apparently D2 is still an independent.
Well, EQ and stuff is like that's all handled on the server. Like Diablo is like your local save game files, unless you turn on your cloud saves, which I'm assuming they do have since they've moved over to BattleNet.
Oh, hold on, we got homie Darkane chiming in with the data.
Okay, yeah, it's always been save files. Okay, so if you as of right now, correct me if I'm wrong. As of right now, let's say you have your original Diablo 2 saves from like 2000 or 99 or whatever. You sign up for Battle.net right now. You get Diablo 2 right now. You can just copy those same saves into the folder and just start playing them.
Dude, chiming in like a champ.
Okay.
Darkane still has his files.
It's still independent.
And he says there was a patch to make it work on Windows 10. Oh my god.
That's crazy. So it's still independent of the launcher?
Yes, that'll work.
That's insane. In 2021, you don't need the Blizzard launcher.
Can we get an applause for Darkane?
That's pretty cool. I had no idea. I thought they
would
have.
People, he would have been the person.
You're absolutely right.
He was just on here like 2 or 3 weeks ago and told us he played it, right? Yeah.
So Sagebell, are you saying you don't have your file?
So whenever Diablo 2 was, I would say that computer has been dead longer than my morbid comment insert here.
Yeah, I was like, is she gonna say it?
Well, I mean, the anniversary is in 2 days, so extra morbid.
Condolences.
Yeah, in advance.
It was like been longer than that guy's been dead. But yeah, oh god, I don't even know what compute. Jeez, how 20 years? Oof, jeez. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have nah.
Who even knows what happened to that hard drive?
That was my compact Presario that I played Brood Wars on.
Jeez.
And that computer still has floppy disks, right?
Yeah, I had the 3.5 inch.
Oh, CD-ROM. Get the frick out of here. I'm not
It's
that
it's
old.
it still had a 3.5-inch floppy on it though. I bet.
It did.
Yeah, no,
It
that's
did.
what I'm saying. It
Oh,
was
it had
a
the
CD
slot, for
and
sure.
floppy.
Mm-hmm.
So this brings up,
Yeah, Gen Z, a floppy disk is a flat thing that
Oh,
gets sticked in
if
your
someone wants to
computer.
read Dark Kane's
Yeah,
topic,
I'm reading how it's still the same code, but it's going to send it to an updated UI. That's the same UI for Warcraft 3 Remastered, and I'm going to keep bringing this up. That's the same UI that they had it, and it's just a web page that runs embedded in the game. And the web page for the main menu of Warcraft 3 took up more resources than the entire rest of the game. Just the menu, because they had it like running some video in an embedded web page.
that sounds janky. That
It
sounds like
is janky. That's why everyone, you know what, lower them expectations with this, because Warcraft 3 Reforged is still a hot mess. Didn't that get pulled back? Talking about a game that got released and then pulled back. I think they pulled it back to retool it because it was probably the worst remaster of all time, and that's saying a lot, but it's true. So with this, you guys, please be careful. If you still have your save games from 20 years ago, please make a copy before you try to import them anywhere. Yeah.
But this brings up a greater topic, and I want to bring this up to everybody in the podcast, including Dark Kane. We got Andrew Brown III,
JB.
Fun Zelda. We got all of our homies on deck. We even got our phantom producer in the back. This isn't the first time a company has rewarded gamers for keeping old save data. This is a trend. This is probably one of the more ambitious ones I've ever heard. But for example, with stuff like Final Fantasy 13, if you buy it for Fantasy 13-2, or if you have Spider-Man, a specific one. Sorry, I wrote it down. Like Shattered Dimensions, there'd be costume unlocks for the next one. A lot of them are mostly cosmetic, however, and aren't like, hey, I keep all of my items. But those are the ones I was able to find. There's like little kind of Easter egg ones. Like if you have a save file for Eco,
and
then you play Shadow of the Colossus, there's a character that'll have a different glyph on their forehead.
Yeah, I'm also thinking of like Metal Gear Solid when Psycho Mantis reads your memory card. He's like, "You like Castlevania, don't you?" If you have a Castlevania save game file on there, so there's stuff like that. I'm trying to think of a game that rewarded you for keeping your old saves though, like further back. I can think of games that had Easter eggs, like you said. If you had other save games information there,
yeah.
I guess
so
Mass Effect.
Yeah, Mass Effect was big on this. If there's a website at tvtropes.org. They had an old save bonus article.
Fantastic website, by the way. If you haven't gone on there, it's like Wikipedia. Like you'll fall into that shit and be on there for days.
But it's like a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And specifically, the Mass Effect article is by far the longest. So if you import a save file from Mass Effect to Mass Effect 2, it'll give you experience point bonus for 2, depending on what level they finish the game at.
Yeah.
It also preserves the decisions made in the first game.
Yeah. I remember playing through those.
And then spoilers, if certain characters were alive in the first one, it like affects, like it's a trilogy by design for the player. I don't want to say things because I don't want to spoil things, but there's like 9 entries here of all the things that carry over on Mass Effect alone.
Yes. And that was the big controversy. If you all remember Mass Effect 3 when it first came out, everybody just like threw up and rebelled at the end of it. It's because at the very end of that one, and this isn't a spoiler because they overwrote it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say what specifically happens anyway. But at the end of that game, your last choice is not a choice at all. They're like, do the thing and you'll save everybody. Do the thing and you'll win. But it doesn't say if you'll save everybody. And no matter which one you grabbed, your character would die either way. So you're like, I'm not really making a choice here. So that's like the whole game was all about making choices, and they carry it over. And the very last choice of the game was not a choice. So that's why everybody was like, fuck this ending. So, yeah, I do remember that.
To reference survival horror with our wonderful Sage Bell, in Dead Space 2, if you have a save file from Dead Space, it'll give you access to a weapon called the refurbished plasma cutter from the first game, which can't be obtained in any other way. And like stuff like that is kind of tight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Reward your fans that come back.
Oh no, I think you already said it. Never mind.
Yeah, I would
I
say
was
if you
gonna say
plan,
Mass Effect.
yeah, definitely. And then your save games are gonna still carry over. So if you still have your save games, I think from the original series when you played it the first time, Mass Effect, I think you could still load those, put them into a save game file, and play those progresses on the remaster. But we'll see. That's another one to keep an eye out for because I've been dying, and I just wanted the first one remastered. The last two and three, they could stay because they were made with more modern technology and they still hold up well. But one was falling apart. You couldn't really play it on a modern PC, and the textures are real low res and it's kind of floaty and janky when you try to play it now. So I just wanted number one to be remastered. But if they screw any of that up, I don't know, it's going to be interesting. So make a copy of your save game files if you're going to import your save games over to Diablo.
Well, heck.
Well, I think that should start wrapping up our show now, right? Or we got someone else to close out?
I believe that is the Mr. Rogers chested individual.
That'd be you.
You can find me on Instagram at Skylar's Back at It. You can find me on the Odin Plains of Earth, Valheim.
It's Midgard. You're on Midgard.
Well, I don't know if it's technically Midgard. It just says this area was created by Odin.
Oh, okay. And Odin didn't create Midgard, so yeah, never mind.
Yeah, so it's like Odin created this Earth, I guess.
Okay.
But anyways, find me on there if you want to come join my server. Please feel free. Find me in Discord. Find me on Steam at All Might Space Skylar, one word. And please follow the podcast, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you all. Thank you, Voodoo Ranger and the Soundcasting Network, for letting us do this every week. We appreciate all of you. Thank you, Bobby Stills, for being in the background, throwing up the graphics like a boss. Thank you, all my co-hosts. Appreciate you all holding it down every week. So is that it? Everyone's closing statements are all done? Ready to wrap up the show?
You started closing statements.
Oh, did I
Yeah.
start? I wasn't
Yeah.
sure if I started. Sorry, I like zoned out hard for a second. Somebody
Oh,
was
good.
Go in reverse. Hit up Russ, I think, because we're gonna have Sage Bell end.
Yep. I'll keep it short and relatively sweet. Thank you, everybody, for watching us. It's good to be seen and be seen. Go out there and play some games. Hit us up in the Steam group because we do hand out free games. When are we giving away a PS5? When we each have a PS5. How about that?
I don't even have a PS5.
So, like in 2024, when the PS5 Pro comes out, we'll give out PS5 currently.
I'm waiting for the Slim.
Yeah, waiting for the PS5 Pro Slim. Yeah, join our Steam group. It's just Saltier Podcast. We do give away free games. You can ask our boy over there, Matt Stotts. He'll tell you. We do give away free games. Check out and also on our Steam group, you can also see what games we're playing. We need to add Valheim to that list there on the Steam's group. But yeah, it's good to be seen. Catch you guys next week. Check us out in all the places, the Facebooks, the Twitters, and all that good stuff. I will pass it up to the loudest and the brownest.
Maniacs is gonna be quick. I am Louderbrown at Louderbrown, Instagram, Twitter. I am Gross Steph with a PH on Steam and on PlayStation. Thanks for joining, and please watch all of my friends' streams. They love having people, and they are great and entertaining.
Nice.
And do that. I love you all. And speaking of streamers, kicking it off to the sagest bell.
Well, Sage Bell. Twitch and Twitter. I stream this week. I will be streaming Wednesday night at probably around 6:30, 7 p.m. Pacific time. You can also find me elsewhere, either at SageBell or SageBell_model, specifically Facebook and Instagram. Stick around after we are done all chatting with you to watch Skylar do some Valheim gameplay. And that has been a broadcast by the Soundcasting Network and Saltier Podcast.
Ooh.
Nice.